Hello family and friends and fellow YouTubers, it's Kim here from Kim's Country Corner, and today I'm at the Monroe City Senior Housing Complex and I'm getting ready to work on the South Side garden. This is a garden that I started last year and worked on throughout the summer, and then last fall I even cardboarded and mulched everything in really well. But this year I'm going to continue to work on it, and I have a few new rose bushes that I want to get put in, and I just kind of want to give you a general tour of the whole area. So let's go ahead and look at what has developed and then what I'm going to be working on. So let's go take a look. Okay, so this is the east end of the senior housing unit, and this is what I call the senior housing south garden, because it does face south. And then this is the east end up here, and that is the west end down there. But up here, as you can see, this resident has some of the tomato plants set out, and he carefully set them around the things I had planted. But the boxwood did suffer a little bit of winter damage, I think, or it might have just gotten too dry. But yeah, everything's growing. The rose bush I just deadheaded. I need to get this tag off, but this is a double knockout rose. These roses are white and beautiful. They come on early, and then last year, whenever I deadheaded it and kind of cut it back, it did give me a second flush. So I'm hoping that it will do that again this year. The daylilies are putting on growth. They have not sent out flower heads yet, which surprises me because the ones at the farm have. But these are only a year old. Well, I put them in last year, so this is going on to their second year. These roses back here are white and beautiful. The white ones usually bloom early, and then, but they don't last as long. And so I plan to put in another red rose bush. I have it sitting there, but it's actually going to go right in there. So anyway, yes, I need to get that rose bush into the ground today. And then we have a climber here that's past its prime, but it really puts on some beautiful flowers in the spring. I'll see if I can show you one of the good ones still left. Yeah, it's a beautiful climber. More daylilies. The shrubs are called winter gem boxwoods. I always say that wrong. Winter gem boxwoods, and they did well. And then this rose bush, I just deadheaded and cut back, but you can see there is new growth on it. Another rose bush. I kind of repeat. You guys know I'm a repeat planter. The pattern goes winter gem boxwood, winter gem boxwood, winter gem boxwood. And then windowed in that is rose bush, and then altered between that are daylilies, and daylilies. We've also got some tiger lilies coming up. So anyway, yes, I like to keep a pattern going throughout the different sections with just a few surprises thrown in. So like this section down here is the same thing. 3 winter gem boxwoods, 1, 2, 3. 2 of the knock roses, 1, 2, and then the daylilies in between. And then our surprise for this box are some sedum that a neighbor dug up and gave, and we planted back there in the back. So this is the last area to be developed. I had kind of started on it last year by putting in the boxwoods, but that's all I got done. And so this year I want to finish it up. I will eventually get a railroad tie to border this with, but that takes a truck and that takes labor, and I don't have a truck or labor at this point in time. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to draw a line there where I know the tie is going to go, and then we'll go ahead and plant behind it. This mom I had put in the ground last fall for this resident here. She had won it. It said on there it was only an annual, but it came back, and it's kind of in the wrong place. So I might end up moving it. I might be putting it up here in the front in replace of the daylilies. But I did get one batch of daylilies brought in, and then I'll put another batch over here. But anyway, what we're going to be working on today is getting these rose bushes into the ground. And I'm hoping I can do it myself, but with my leg, I'm not sure. So we'll just see what happens. I'm going to move that little way right there. This rose bush I will keep kind of trimmed up so it's not as tall as this one. They don't grow as tall as your regular rose bushes, so I think it's going to be fine here. All right, I will water this in after I get the other rose bushes. So let's move on down and get the other two. So this south side over here gets sun, full sun most of the day. I'm just out here very early in the morning. So because there's a tree over here on this east side, is getting shade in the morning, but by the time it moves through the sky, this gets sunny pretty early. Right around 10 it starts getting sunny, and then it's full sun the rest of the day. So these, even though it looks shady right now, and as you can see it is starting to sun up, they do get enough sun to thrive. So I'm just out very early this morning trying to get this done before it gets too warm. Plus I have other gardens to go to today. So anyway, let's get these two into the ground. And I think I'm going to try to move that mum up here to the front. And I want to dig before I do get out, I'm going to dig the holes first. Oh, this dirt's a little bit hard. It has not been worked as much as that other dirt. Alright, I think that's deep enough. All right. Now, eventually, this winter gem boxwood will get bigger than the mum. But I'm going to go get some good soil to put around this mum. So, it is needing some good soil. So, I'll be right back. This dirt down here, the soil down here, it's not been developed as much as the other beds. So it's a little bit drier and harder, but it will eventually get developed as I add more plants. I always try to add better soil. But it really does make the digging a lot harder. Of course, having a bad knee doesn't help either. This hard soil, I'm just throwing back there in the corner. Good morning. Soil actually looks worse than it really is. It's just it's so dry. We have not had any rainfall yet this spring. So it's just super dry. But like I said, it's not as good as the other soil because the other soil has been developed over the years. This one has not. So what I do is, to improve the soil, is as I plant things, I make the hole bigger and then I add good soil in around it to the bottom and around the edges, and that will eventually improve the flower bed as I go. Put just a little bit of this in the bottom for it to set on to kind of encourage it to come down. gets in line with the other ones. Because this garden is at a slope, this front part is sticking up above the ground just a little bit more. So I want to make sure I bring the ground level up so that none of those roots are exposed. I'm not really stomping hard, I'm just kind of giving it a gentle press here. Make sure we got, yeah, see, I need to bring that soil level up some more. It kind of depends on the project that I'm doing. I don't always use Miracle-Gro, but when I'm doing up close plant content, a lot of the times I will, and then use the cheaper mulch for open areas. But this is all I could get, so this is what I'm using. Alright, I think I've got it ground level now. Had to build the ground up a little bit, but it's level. Alright, let's go on to the next one over here. Right, it's going to go right there. My phone battery is getting low, so I'm hoping you guys are going to get to see all of this, but if you don't, just know it got done. Once again, it says even in the back, and the front is not sitting even, but I will just have to build this up here. All right, now we just have these daylilies down here. So let's get them in. I like to do grids of 3. I have another one. I just haven't gotten it over here yet. some of this good soil, I'll just put back in around this. I have a lot of good soil up here I can use for around this. When you're planting on slopes, you really have to make sure that all your edges are covered, because like the back part might be covered but the front will be exposed. So make sure you check all edges. And yes, I plant my daylilies a little bit closer. I do plant the daylilies a little bit closer than the tags say, but that's because I want immediate impact. And I found that they do pretty good in groups of 3. Okay, so I do plant the daylilies a little bit closer than what the tags tell me to, but it's because I want instant impact, and they do all right being a little bit crowded for a few years. You just have to separate them, you know, sooner. But I like that immediate impact. All right, we are done with this section except for cleaning up our mess and maybe leveling this out just a little bit. Everything is in the ground. I have to get the railroad tie. That's the only thing not in the ground is the railroad tie. And like I said, I have to wait for help with that. So there we go. Last bed. I will probably get rid of this yucky dirt back here, clean up the mess, and I'll show you the end result. And I will be watering. The water hose, I'm really lucky, it's very close by. It's right here. So what I'll do is, as I'm cleaning up, I will just lay this hose up here where it can just do a good soaking. Get rid of any air pockets in there. And then while that's doing a good soaking, I just go around and pick up my mess here. All this old sod. That's one thing that's a little bit different working up here at the senior housing than out at the farm is, if I make a mess out the farm, I have a little bit of time to clean it up. Up here, I like to get it cleaned up immediately because it's such a public area, and you just don't want to leave this stuff laying around for people to trip over, you know, have to walk around and just look at. You don't want them looking at your mess. You want them looking at the beauty that you just put in. I might have to come back and, you know, add more soil at a later point after things settle, but I just keep an eye on it. If I do, I do, and sometimes I don't. I really want to get this watered in good so it doesn't go through transplant shock. I'm hoping since I left a lot of root ball on this, and I got it back into the ground immediately with good soil, I'm giving it a watering that it will not go into shock, and it will do okay.
that soaked a little bit.
Okay friends, so here's a tip. Anytime you're putting in a garden, it's always a good idea to hold on to your tags. You know, it gives you all the information on how to plant them, spacing, soil conditions, lighting conditions. But the main reason I like to hold on to them is because it tells you the variety. That way, if anything dies and I need to replace it, and I want to replace it with the same specimen, I have my tag that tells me, oh yes, these are pardon me reds. So whenever I go to my nursery, I know to ask for the daylily that is the pardon me red, or the same with the knock knock roses. So hold on to your tags. Of course, I videotape everything, well not everything, but most of the stuff I do, so I have a visual record of it. But sometimes I don't want to have to watch a whole video to find out what variety I need. So I just refer back to my tags. All right, that's going to be it for today's video. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. And if you want to know more about what's going on in my corner of the world, hit that subscribe button to Kim's Country Corner. I will talk to you all later. Bye for now.